Western Island Mechanical is a mechanical contractor based out of San Francisco Bay Area. We're in Menlo Park, and we've been around for 60 years. We actually just celebrated our 60th anniversary. We're a full-service mechanical contractor. There's really nothing that we don't do if it's HVAC related. A lot of what we do is in the biotech and high-tech facilities. So we're not working on your everyday project. We're working on the more complex type of projects and locations, and we thrive on solving problems. One of the things that our service department has to contend with when they're going out to replace a piece of equipment is the environment, the conditions. So if we have to go and replace a piece of equipment that's been set there for years, an outdoor piece of equipment, chances are there's going to be rust, there's going to be corrosion. Some of the anchoring bolts are going to be really hard to break loose. Some of the valves that have been open for a long period of time are going to be really hard to close. So a penetrant like Kroil really helps us with the process and allows us to complete the job.
So when I first started this, I was working for this journeyman, and he worked in, he was out in Vietnam, and his job was he took care of all the helicopters. And he turned me on to Kroil, and he goes, this stuff is the best. And he was one of these journeymen and wouldn't tell you a lot, but one of the first things he introduced me to was Kroil. And like I said, that's close to 25 years ago, and I've been using it ever since. It's got this unique smell, which I kind of like, which is kind of weird, but it works.
So with this recent project that we had in Oakland to replace the heat exchanger and the associated chilled water pumps, our team went out there. We had to isolate flow to this heat exchanger before we could actually break it loose and get it ready to remove from a rooftop. So we had to go and close that isolation valve. That thing hadn't been closed in quite some time, and it was really hard to actually maneuver that valve closed. So we had to utilize the penetrant to close that.
So pretty much we're replacing this. We got to shove both of these valves down. They're a little tight, so we're going to spray some Kroil and get them loosened up and let the Kroil sit for about 5 minutes. We're going to loosen the nuts on the skid to get this pump out.
Right now I'm currently undoing the base of this heat exchanger that we're replacing, and right now I'm spraying some Kroil and to loosen these bolts to get ready. So because we're going to redo some of these pipe right here, we are going to undo these clamps, pipe clamps right here to get it all ready. So that's what we're going to do right now.
One of the clients that we take care of in Alameda, California, we installed their HVAC system about a decade ago, and we've been maintaining it ever since. It's a somewhat unique facility in that it's located right on the bay, and it's presented quite a few challenges over the years for our service team in taking care of it. Because of the salt air and the nature of that air being very corrosive, a lot of parts are failing prematurely. There's a lot of rust, a lot of corrosion on the rooftops, and so our technicians have to contend with that when they're just trying to do their daily repairs and service of the equipment. Some of these repairs consisted of just general maintenance repairs that the guys were taking care of. One of them was a boiler pump that we needed to replace and upsize. It wasn't enough capacity for the space, so we had to upsize that pump, which meant we actually had to remove that pump from the rooftop and put a new larger one in place. So in order to do that, we had to break loose the base of that pump that it was mounted on and reconfigure some things. That thing had been sitting there for a decade since we installed it, and as a result, it was really hard to break it loose, and we needed a penetrant to get in there and help us break some of those bolts loose. One of the other items that we were working on, again, just some general maintenance items, there was a belt replacement on the air handler. Well, the access panels for that air handler are difficult to remove. The bolts on those get badly rusted. They're made of galvanized steel, and in order to actually open the door just to do our job and replace these belts, the guys really had to utilize a penetrant to get in there, get those open so that we could get in there and change out those belts. So one of the other repairs that we had going was the relief dampers for the building were seized. They were stuck. After years of operation opening and closing, they were starting to seize up. And so our technicians had to get in there with a penetrant and actually spray in the linkage themselves to be able to exercise the dampers and get them to function again.
I can tell you one thing, man. Kroil That's a staple, man. You make sure you got that stuff in your truck. And I guarantee if you go to 90% of these Wham vehicles, you're gonna see Kroil on that. Guaranteed.